Have you ever heard a story so strange, so chilling, that it sticks with you long after you've heard it? A story with a mystery so deep, it has baffled historians and archaeologists for over 400 years. Today, we're journeying back in time to the shores of North America to uncover one of history's most enduring enigmas, the lost colony of Roanoke. Picture this: it's the late 16th century. England, under Queen Elizabeth I, is eager to establish a foothold in the New World. Sir Walter Raleigh, a dashing courtier and explorer, sponsors an ambitious expedition to found the first permanent English settlement in North America. After a few initial attempts, a group of 115 men, women, and children set sail in 1587, full of hope and dreams of a new life. They landed on Roanoke Island, a sliver of land off the coast of modern-day North Carolina. Their leader was a man named John White, an artist and cartographer. Among the colonists was his own daughter, Eleanor Dare, who was pregnant. Shortly after their arrival, she gave birth to a baby girl, Virginia Dare, the very first English child born in the Americas. It was a moment of immense hope, a symbol of a new beginning, but this promising start would soon curdle into a tale of mystery and silence. The colony quickly ran into trouble. Supplies were dwindling, and tensions were rising with some of the local Native American tribes. The settlers realized they wouldn't survive the coming winter without help from England. So they persuaded their governor, John White, to make the perilous journey back across the Atlantic to plead for more supplies and reinforcements. It was a heart-wrenching decision for him. He was leaving behind his entire family, his daughter, his son-in-law, and his brand-new granddaughter, Virginia. But he promised he would return as quickly as possible. He had no idea it would be 3 long, agonizing years before he saw Roanoke Island again. Why the delay? Well, history intervened in a big way. When White arrived back in England, he found the country on the brink of war. The mighty Spanish Armada was preparing to invade, and every available ship was being commandeered for the defense of the realm. White's desperate pleas for a relief mission were lost in the chaos of war. He tried to arrange private voyages, but they were met with disaster and delay. For 3 years he was trapped in England, his heart aching with worry for the colonists he had left behind. Finally, in August of 1590, John White managed to secure passage on a ship and made his way back to Roanoke. As his ship approached the island, his anticipation must have been unbearable. He imagined a thriving settlement, his family rushing to greet him on the shore. But as they drew closer, an eerie silence hung over the island. There was no smoke from chimneys, no sounds of life, no welcoming party. When White and his men went ashore, they found a ghost town. The houses had been carefully dismantled, not violently destroyed. The heavy artillery, boats, and all personal belongings were gone. It was as if the entire community of 115 people had simply packed up and vanished into thin air. There were no signs of a struggle, no bodies, no graves. It was a clean, systematic, and utterly baffling disappearance. As they searched the deserted settlement, they found their one and only clue. Carved into a wooden post of the fort's palisade was a single, cryptic word: Croatoan. Upon searching further, they found the letters CRO carved into a nearby tree. Now, this wasn't just a random jumble of letters. Before White had left for England, he had arranged a secret code with the colonists. If they had to leave Roanoke for any reason, they were to carve their destination into a tree. If they were in danger or forced to leave, they were to carve a Maltese cross above the name. But there was no cross. The carving of Croatoan seemed to suggest a planned, peaceful departure. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, now known as Hatteras Island, and it was also the name of a friendly Native American tribe that lived there, led by a chief named Manteo. Manteo had previously traveled to England and was a trusted ally of the English. So, the most logical explanation seemed to be that the colonists had simply moved to Croatoan Island to live with their allies. It made perfect sense. John White was desperate to follow this lead. He wanted to sail the 50 miles south to Croatoan Island immediately. But once again, fate was cruel. A massive storm, a hurricane, blew in, damaging their ships and making a journey to the island impossible. With dwindling supplies and a restless crew, the ship's captain refused to risk the journey. Heartbroken and defeated, John White was forced to sail back to England, never to return to America. He would die years later, never knowing what became of his daughter, his granddaughter, and the 115 souls of the lost colony. And so, the mystery was born. What happened to the Roanoke colonists? Did they really go to Croatoan Island? For centuries, this has been the leading theory. The idea is that the settlers, facing starvation, assimilated with the friendly Croatoan people. They might have intermarried, adopted their customs, and simply blended into the local population. Later reports from other explorers and settlers in the region mention encounters with gray-eyed, fair-haired Native Americans, which some took as evidence of this assimilation. Archaeological digs on Hatteras Island have even uncovered English artifacts from the right time period, lending more weight to this idea. It's a hopeful theory that the colonists didn't vanish but survived by becoming part of a new community. But that's just one theory. And like any great mystery, there are others, some far more sinister. Another popular theory is that the colonists were attacked and wiped out. While their relationship with the Croatoan tribe was good, they had hostile encounters with other, more powerful tribes in the area. It's possible that without their leader and military protection, the small settlement was overrun. But this theory has a major problem: the lack of evidence. An attack would have been violent and messy. Yet John White found no bodies, no skeletons, and no signs of a battle. The settlement was dismantled, not destroyed. It just doesn't quite fit the scene. Then there are the more far-fetched theories, the kind that fuel late-night speculation. Some have suggested that the colonists tried to sail back to England on their own in a small boat and were lost at sea. Others propose they were victims of a deadly disease that swept through the colony, forcing the survivors to flee, though again, where are the graves? And, of course, in the world of unsolved mysteries, there are always whispers of the supernatural. Legends of cannibalism, strange plagues, or even alien abduction have been floated over the years, turning the historical event into a chilling ghost story. The word Croatoan itself has taken on a life of its own, becoming a symbol of the unexplained. It's a piece of a puzzle with most of the parts missing. For over 400 years, historians, archaeologists, and amateur sleuths have been searching for definitive answers. The Lost Colony DNA Project is even trying to trace potential descendants of the colonists among local families, searching for a genetic link that could finally prove the assimilation theory. But as of today, the fate of those 115 men, women, and children remains one of America's oldest and most profound unsolved mysteries. They stepped onto the shores of a new world, full of hope, and then they simply disappeared, leaving behind only silence and a single, haunting word carved into a tree. Did they find a new home with the Croatoan people, their bloodlines continuing in secret for generations? Or did they meet a grim end in the unforgiving wilderness? We may never know for sure. The Lost Colony of Roanoke is a stark reminder that sometimes history doesn't give us all the answers. It just leaves us with a story, a question mark, and the echo of a name. Croatoan. What do you think happened? Let me know your theories in the comments below. It's a mystery that belongs to all of us now. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history's great unknowns, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that make you think. We'll see you in the next video.